there, welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is always wonderful to have you back here with me, this time for the weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 12th of May, 2025. Once again, a reminder if you haven't tuned into the May overview, go and check it out. And if you have, remember that our focus for the whole month, locked, is on the tower, focused on contemplation, getting a bigger perspective, and being a beacon for others. Now, last week, we also had a locked hexagram. Okay, we had hexagram 61, centered truth, really connecting to the heart, connecting to hearing what we need to hear, seeing what we need to see, lining up our inside and our outside selves, taking off those masks, and finding ways of really being an open heart that is not emotional, but is receptive and kind and compassionate and present for others and for ourselves. How did that work for you? What truth dropped into your mind, dropped into your world, where you thought, damn, and I need to do something about this. I can't know this and not do something. Damn! I've had that experience before, and I certainly had it again this past week. So there was something that came up for you. Please do share a comment. We don't have a locked hexagram this week. We have 3 changing lines. So we went from no changing lines to 3. Wow, a whole shake up in energy in the week to come. Okay, so our first hexagram for this week that we are paying attention to is hexagram 64, before completion. The last 2 hexagrams are so interesting because hexagram 63 is after completion, which is we're finishing, but we're just doing the last bit of finishing. And here, the last one is actually before completion, right? We are about to start the last push for the summit. So when you work with this hexagram, we work with this idea of completing things, right? Reaching a fulfillment of something, whether that's a relationship, a project, a phase of our growth, our education, whatever it is, it's going to point to the ending of a cycle and the completion of a journey of some kind. And the mountain image is a very powerful one. When we're climbing a mountain, like Everest, for example, that last little stretch, your summit night, is the toughest, it's the shortest, it's the toughest, and it's the one that we need to be most engaged and focused and aware and present in, because it brings the most challenge. So usually when we are going through a process and you get to the final crunch, that is where it all could go pear-shaped. Think about any project you've been on. We even had a big project plan, and everyone's worked towards a project plan and been doing things and been ticking things, working towards it. And then when you get to the day before the event or the day before the launch or the day before, and then you really start to realize how well your planning has prepared you. And there's always these unusual things that come into your path, that last moment where everyone's trying to rally together to deliver this final result. Okay, that's that little bit that we're in, that night before the big day. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So when we work with this hexagram, we realize how important it is to be present, to be focused, to be in tune with how every step gets us to where we need to go. We do not rush the step, okay? As much as it's tempting, we can see the finish line. This is not the time to take shortcuts, okay? So part of this challenge is that as the time is getting closer and we're trying to get this thing done, okay, the risk of like, let's just take a few shortcuts because we'll just get there, just get to the finish, okay? That's where it can all unravel in that last moment between the night before and the event itself. Okay, that's where things can start to go pear-shaped. And so part of this process of completion is really making sure we pay attention to every step. One foot in front of the other. When you get to the last summit push for any big mountain, you are not racing. I mean, you're barely breathing, for that matter. Okay, you are putting one foot in front of the other and breathing. And one foot in front of the other. Okay, and that's the energy that the I Ching is trying to bring to our attention of how important this last little bit is. It might be a short little gap. The night before, okay, tomorrow's the big day. What is required in this last step? Okay, Focus, concentration, putting one foot in front of the other and not losing our minds and just running because the end is in sight. And if we just run, we will get to the end quicker. No. It's that case of like you have a collapse. You see those marathon runners where they try and sprint at the last minute because they want to, like, they can see the end and they can see that their time could be improved, and they just start bolting as they come into the arena, and then they collapse and they just fall prostrate onto the floor like meters before the finish line. Finished. All right, that's not what we want. We want to get over the finish line and get there safely, get our team across the line, get our families across the line, complete the process. 3 changing lines, 2nd, 3rd, 5th line. Okay, let's get into what these changing lines are bringing to us. In the 2nd position, okay, in this changing line, okay, our wagons are all loaded up with cargo. We are all geared up, okay, and we think we're ready. We think we're ready to make the crossing and we want to get going, but the time is not ready yet. And strength is demonstrated by our capacity to put on the brakes, okay, is to restrain our urge to just go, okay. So there's a whole process here around, as much as things are being loaded up and ready to go, flicking the switch, saying yes, kick-starting the final, splurge forward. What we have to do is restrain ourselves, put on the brakes, okay, restrain ourselves, resist the temptation of wanting to push forward, using our strength to just do it, okay. Resist that, put on the brakes, and wait. And it's like waiting for the right time, and then you, go. Okay, so there's something around this line as we start off the week. We have to resist the urge to just do it because we want to get it done. Okay, we want it finished. We want to be done with this completion process. We're over it. We've been working on this project for the last 18 months. Let's just get it done now. Just resist the urge. Put the brakes on, okay, and you're waiting for that signal. You're waiting for the right time, okay. And perhaps in this changing line itself, it's not the right time. It's just waiting for the signal, which comes later in the changing lines. Understand that as the week gets going, resist the urge to push forward. Use your brakes. Okay. Wait for the signal. Okay. For the right time to move forward. Okay. In the 3rd position, we are ready. We want to cross. We want to go. We recognize we don't yet have enough strength to do it by ourselves. Perhaps we're missing people to take the wagon across the river, all right, or to lead the horses across. I see it as that expedition of like the old wagons going across the river into new territories, right, to reach a safer place, to a new place, to end a cycle, a journey that has begun some time before. And so we recognize that as much as we are ready and we want to cross the river, we don't yet have enough strength to do it alone. What we shouldn't do is get caught up in stress and worry and anxiety and head tripping, the fact that I couldn't do it all by myself. I had to ask for help. Okay, we have to let go. That's ego. All right. This is a moment where we rally people to our cause to help us get across. Okay. When we rally people and we have a vision and we clear the vision and we just take a moment of just refocusing on what's important and bringing those people around us and just, you just bring it all in, right? We've had the handbrake, right? We've had the brakes on the wagon in the previous changing line. Now we just need to really take a moment of creating the picture, like athletes do before they perform some amazing athletic ability. They have this whole vision they play out in their mind of every twist and turn, right, on the acrobatics floor or in the run or whatever it is, absolutely in their mind, having a crystal clear picture of that and how it works and every move and every second. And it's that process of just focusing the vision, all right, gathering in your energy, gathering in your resources, gathering in your helpers. It's the in-breath, okay? And it's pulling that all in before it's time to act. Because in line 5, our 3rd changing line for this week, it's time to act. Move into the great water. Cross that water, which is a symbol of undertaking the challenge. Complete this final push. Okay, you go into the water. The people are with you. We can release the brakes, okay, and we focus on the vision. We focus on the victory, and we go for it. a powerful way of having this energy, having this opportunity, and making this crossing, bringing about that success. Wow, quite a week with these 3 changing lines and this hexagram. Quite a lot of visuals for us to work with. This idea of the handbrake, just restraining, holding back, the in-breath, having our team, having people come to help us, all right, not trying to do this all by ourselves, making sure we have what we need to get through this crossing, so we do it once and we do it right. The day before the big event, right? Have we got all the right people? In-breath, and then line 5, we cross the water. Okay, we move with focus and determination and perseverance and strengthen all the wonderful resources we have built up by finding the right time, sensing the right time, resisting the urge just to act, to do something, and actually being focused and disciplined in leading your team, your people, your family across the river in the right way. And with those 3 changing lines, we get a second hexagram. It's an interesting hexagram. It's hexagram 33, retreat. Yes, we had that one very recently a couple of times, and it's back. And so perhaps retreat, when we think about it, we think about the idea of pulling back from a process where we're now exposed to danger. We're on a battlefield against an enemy where they are stronger, they have more resources, they have a better plan, and realizing that if we just keep on pushing on with this energy, we are going to undermine what we're trying to create, taking time out to retreat and withdraw. So if we take this whole story that I've created in my own mind of these wagons and horses crossing the river in some bygone era, right, in the search of new land, what I see is I see this crossing, and I see the need to then pull back and take time out on the other side of the crossing. So like that process of rallying the forces and crossing the river, what that calls for us to do is perhaps to retreat a little bit from further forward movement and to take time out to replenish the supplies, to let everyone sleep, to let everyone dry out, let the horses rest, repair the wagons, before we now start going on the next phase of the journey. So there's something here in this big completion process that we are driving forward, and we're rallying all our energy and we're being focused. And then what happens is we need to then pull back. Or what happens as a result of that crossing, perhaps, is we see things in a new way. We realize where we need to withdraw from something that is no longer of our highest and our best. And we mustn't think that withdrawing from something is running away from it with a tail between our legs. Strategic retreat is a very powerful strategic move. Okay, think about a chess game. There's times where you go on the attack on the board, and there's other times where you pull back and protect your pieces. That is what we're doing. We've been crossing, we've been pushing, we've been completing. Now we just need a little bit of a retreat to recuperate for the phase that's to come next. I hope that this week brings you beautiful closure, beautiful running up to the completing of something really important in your life, and the opportunity to take time out and reflect and renew and be ready for the next phase of your life. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you liked this episode, thumbs up, share, would be great. And of course, if you would like to receive the episodes into your app as they land, hit the subscribe and the bell notification on YouTube, or the follow button on your podcast to get those episodes straight into your app. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I wish you a wonderful week.